Here is the story of how Pepsi dropped an ad about peace and unity, but instead it triggered a global outrage so massive they had to pull everything down in 48 hours. This is about that infamous 2017 commercial with Kendall Jenner that became a legendary marketing failure. And you know what? This case is still being dissected in marketing textbooks as the ultimate example of what not to do. What actually happened? Early April 2017. PepsiCo rolled out a new spot as part of their Live for Now campaign. The campaign had been running since 2012, but this particular release, well, you'll see. On April 4th, they published the ad. The star of the show, Kendall Jenner, 21 years old, everything polished, everything glossy. The plot is absurdly simple. Kendall is at a photo shoot. She sees some kind of mass march outside the window, drops everything, and joins the crowd. In the final scene, she walks up to a police officer and hands him a Pepsi. He smiles, the crowd cheers, tension evaporates. Done. Conflict solved with one beverage. The song Lions by Skip Marley plays in the background, giving a youthful, free-spirited vibe. Director Michael Bernard directed the spot, and the script was written by Pepsi's internal creative team. The company later explained they wanted to convey a message about peace and unity. Yeah, imagine how that worked out. Why? Everything exploded instantly. Real talk, problems started immediately. It was not about bad cinematography or Kendall saying the wrong thing. People instantly recognized familiar imagery. Everything visually echoed recent real-world protests, including protests against police violence and Black Lives Matter. That scene with the cop became the epicenter of the firestorm. It suggested a complex and dangerous conflict could be solved with one smile and a can of soda. Social media just erupted. People were writing, "Seriously, real protests do not end like this. There are arrests, injuries, people risking their lives." This gap between the glossy commercial and the reality everyone was seeing in the news every single day triggered a sharp reaction. When criticism became symbolic. You know what really sealed the deal? Bernice King, Martin Luther King Jr.'s daughter, posted a sarcastic tweet about the power of Pepsi. That was it. That tweet went viral across the entire internet. The meaning was crystal clear without explanation. The ad looked like a parody of real non-violent protest methods. After that, the story stopped being just internet noise. This was now a serious reputational crisis. Activist D. Ray McKesson also spoke out publicly. He said the ad distorts the essence of protest movements. His words reflected what many felt. The spot was not speaking for activists, it was speaking over them. And then another detail surfaced. All 6 people who created the ad's concept were white, even though the commercial directly dealt with social inequality themes. You get the problem, right? Pepsi surrenders in 48 hours. The company's response was fast, and that speed alone spoke volumes about the scale of the problem. Less than 48 hours after publishing, on April 5th, Pepsi completely removed the ad. They removed it from all platforms. Everything was done. In their official statement, the company said they wanted to talk about peace, but they missed the mark. They apologized. Here is an important point, though. No confirmed data about direct financial losses from this ad was ever published. But the very fact of an emergency removal, that is rare for a giant like this. It means the reputational damage was too serious to ignore. What Kendall said. During the scandal, Kendall Jenner stayed silent. Later, it came out that she did not even participate in creating the idea. She was handed a finished script. She first spoke about it only on August 16, 2017, on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. She said the reaction shocked her, and that she felt awful about it. There was no official apology from her. The main criticism remained focused on Pepsi. Here is the interesting part. Even the biggest celebrity becomes vulnerable when a brand uses them in a controversial campaign. The star's name did not protect her. It actually amplified the reaction. Why this could never work. Marketers quickly identified the core problem. Pepsi had no real history of participating in social movements. Marketer Mike Jackson said it straight. The brand lacks social authority. And without that foundation, any statements about peace look like empty gestures. And the timing made it worse. At that moment, protests in the US were accompanied by real violence. But in the ad, a festive atmosphere. The contrast was too obvious. The ad looked like it was created in a vacuum, with zero understanding of what was happening outside the studio. Details that make it worse. The ad was not even shot in the US. Filming took place in Bangkok at the Omni Tower Sukhumvit Nana area All Seasons Place complex. Picture this, an ad about American protest completely staged thousands of miles away from them. Activist Ellie Hearns later said in interviews that the ad creates a false impression of protests, erasing the risk and danger people face in real life. The commercial version of events just did not match reality. Not even close. What remained after? Over time, this ad became the textbook example of how not to handle social issues. It is dissected in public relations and marketing courses everywhere. After this incident, Pepsi noticeably changed its tone. Direct references to protests disappeared. Communication became careful. There were no big announcements about internal changes. Subsequent campaigns showed the lesson was learned. Today, this spot is remembered as an example of how a brand actually united people, just not the way it planned. Instead of peace and harmony, the ad united everyone against Pepsi itself. The takeaway: this ad story shows that even giants screw up, and when they do, the consequences can be brutal. Social issues demand more than good intentions. You need a deep understanding of context. Pepsi wanted to talk about unity, and it got the opposite effect. One short commercial entered history as a reminder. Advertising does not exist in a vacuum. It is part of the real world, and if you do not understand that, you will pay the price.